They're also doing this to scare people from sending tips. Hi, and welcome to Flawsome Talk. I'm Justin Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal feud. Now, as you know, Blake Lively has dragged content creators into this mess as well, which I find so disgusting. I just have to say, I was watching Andy Signor again live yesterday, where he was talking about, he was showing off his subpoena. He's one of the three who has been subpoenaed. The other ones are Paris Hilton and Candace Owens. Andy has a very successful YouTube channel, Popcorn Planet, and he has been following this legal feud like the rest of us, like the rest of the media. And now, as I said yesterday, Blake Lively's team is fighting to get all correspondence that these creators had with you guys who've been tipping them off. They want to see all their sources. I mean, this is just insane. And as Andy said yesterday on his channel, they are never going to get it. And as he said, he will protect his sources, whatever it takes. And it will take a lot because these things can end up being pretty expensive because you have to fight the subpoena in court. You have to get a lawyer to fight the subpoena and say, I refuse to share my sources.
You will not attempt to destroy my journalistic integrity with your shenanigans. I am still floored by this, guys. I am legitimately floored.
And I just wanted to put it out there that I would do the same thing. I would never give you guys up. And the crazy thing in all of this is what Andy said yesterday. You know, they used this press release that he received from the Wayfarer parties. I think he asked for a comment when Justin Baldoni's lawsuit was dismissed, and he got one, and he published that on his YouTube channel. It's the same statement that TMZ also published on their website. So obviously, they also got that from Brian Friedman. Yeah, and of course, these content creators have been in contact with people like Andy was saying, he's been in touch with people from the Wayfarer parties and Blake Lively's team. That's what a journalist does. You go out and you find sources, you talk to them, you get information, just like all the other publications are working. But the reason why they're going after the content creators is because they're independent and they have to defend themselves. These things are expensive, and it's also a fair tactic that I spoke about yesterday. So what they're trying to do here basically is stop the free press, saying that no, you can't protect your sources because I'm Blake Lively and I'm powerful and I'm famous and I'm rich. So I am entitled to see your sources. Like, what? Also, this is exactly what New York Times did when Justin Baldoni sued them. They were saying, no, we're not going to show you anything. We have like reporter or journalist privilege here, which is exactly the same thing that everyone's doing here. This is just horrific to me. And as you might know, Andy over at Popcorn Planet has been working on a documentary where, of course, he has been speaking to people that were close to Ends with Us on the set. And he had someone that worked on the movie in the documentary that didn't even dare to show their face. And of course, you cannot give up the identity of these people.
You are not going to make me lose my credibility in this industry as a journalist and as someone who has made personal contracts with whistleblowers who wanted to speak up against your powerful tactics and try to make it play like I'm the shady one. Not a hell on my watch. That is not happening on my watch.
Yeah, that would just be like the worst thing you can do as a journalist. You can just throw your integrity down the toilet. Anyways, Tracy sent me this. Thank you so much. Another reminder, of what they're actually trying to do here. And she's pointing at that incident. Remember Steve Sarowitz, the one who is actually banking Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, the one who's also a partner at the Wayfarer studio. He had this crazy man come to his house and set fire on, I think it was a garbage can or whatever. He was an arson, and he was also threatening to kidnap his daughter. This was really scary, and the guy who did this admitted that he had been watching the drama unfold in the media with Blake Lively. And he said, you can afford to bankroll Justin Baldoni, so I want $80,000 in cash. Crazy man. They got him, thankfully. These are the results of what Blake Lively is doing now. I've said this before here on my channel that I received emails where someone was threatening to burn down my apartment. And I've been getting other horrible threats. And there was a story in Daily Mail from May where they were talking about the Wayfair team and some of the publicists that's been dragged into this and how they have been receiving so many threats that one of them had to build a gate around their house to protect her children. Things like this. And of course, because Blake Lively's filings have been doxing the real address of a lot of these people. So what they're doing now, asking for all this information from content creators, they might as well just dox all the information from the people who's been tipping off content creators. It says in the article here that one tag employee has been forced to build a gate in order to access her property over fears her family will be attacked. Private home addresses have been leaked in the court documents, which have been pushed by Lively's team. That's then been shared on social media, and we have people threatening to harm anyone who works for the company and their families. I am confident, though, that neither Candace Owens or Paris Hilton or Andy, of course, will ever give up their sources. But they can do so much damage. Remember what they did to me as well when they hacked into my Wikipedia page? It was going on for a couple of weeks. People were editing back and forth. So a team was editing it to make me look bad. And then some amazing people out there were editing it back to make me, the person that I really am and to point out my achievements. But then Blake Lively's team or someone allegedly from her side were editing my Wikipedia page again to make me look like a corrupt journalist. So something Tracy's pointing out in her email here is that they're also doing this to scare people from sending tips to content creators. I think that's a really good point because this is a fair tactic that they're doing. So please do not stop sending tips to the people that you trust online. The way I see it, I don't think they're going to get away with this. I don't think the judge will allow this at all. But just being dragged into it, it just creates a lot of extra headache and you have to defend yourself. I remember, as I said, when I was dragged into that New York Times article and I felt I had to come out and defend myself all the time. And it's exactly what they're doing to these three people right now. And yeah, so if you can support them in any way, please do, and support all the content creators out here that are trying to seek the truth and not be bullied into intimidation, because that's not who we are. And yeah, on top of this, Blake Lively's team has been filing a bunch of new documents. I think they just want to ruin Justin Baldoni's 4th of July. Of course, this is what they did before Christmas. Remember, that's when they filed the CRD complaint and that New York Times article, so they didn't have any chance to defend themselves for a week because the courts were closed. And of course, the courts are probably closed today. It's 4th of July. In the US, that's a big day. That's why they decided to flood the dockets with a bunch of new documents for the judge to read. One of them is to push for the deadline for discovery. They're saying here that they received critical video evidence because they've been asking to get, hold your horses here, 50,000 hours of video from Justin Baldoni's team. And they're saying that they haven't sent all of that yet. So they haven't been able to look through it. I don't know what they're trying to find from that video, all that video. I'm sure it's all behind the scenes and B-roll and things that have been rolling while the movie was shot. This is just another desperate attempt to just drain the judge and everyone else in their paperwork. It says here that Blake has handed over 21,000 pages to their team and she only got a few pages back, and it's been hard to get Melissa Nason and Jennifer Abel to book a date for their depositions because they're not very available. Can't blame them. So now they want to move the new fact discovery deadline to September 30th. I think it was August 15th, and now they want 6 more weeks to review everything. They're just pushing everything, and they're just trying to drown Justin Baldoni's team in legal bills. That's what they're doing here. And I don't know, maybe they think they're going to get anything from these content creators. So they're going to have to look through 10,000s of emails from people tipping off content creators. And that's why they want to push this deadline. And it also says here that they both parties agreed to 20 depositions each, which is a lot more. I think 10 is the normal for any case. Yeah, so now it's up to the judge to decide if he's going to allow them to push for another deadline here. I don't know if the Wayfarer parties have anything to say here, that they don't want to push it, but let's see what happens. Anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. That's it for me today. As I said so many times, Pete, please keep sending me tips. Especially now, I think it's more important than ever to be out there to tell the truth and to stand up against these bullies who's trying to intimidate us. Anyways, today is also the day I post my podcast, so I hope you can watch that later. I have a special guest with me today, so it's going to be a little different than usual. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, especially now that it's more important than ever. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.